1130 The Tiger, Shreveport Bossier's #1 sports station, and your home for Tim Fletcher in the morning.
By the way, Kim Mulkey has responded to my request to have her as the LSU men's coach.
Oh.
LJ just let her know that, hey, local station in Shreveport just suggested that you be named. She goes, I like that. You call in and tell them to do it. You heard it here first. Kim Mulkey says she wants the job.
Catch Tim Fletcher every weekday morning, 6 to 10 a.m. on 1130 The Tiger.
It takes both vision and skill to create a pool as unique as it is beautiful. A perfect blend of time-honored craftsmanship and cutting-edge technology. The hand, heart, and mind working in perfect sync to create something truly special. A source of timeless relaxation, priceless memories, and endless joy. That is the mission of a master pool builder, and that is the magic of Moorhead Pools.
We have been preaching this for so long, but it's nice to hear it from other sources as well. Gibbsland Bank and Trust certainly knows about customer service. The Minden Press-Herald, our buddies over there in Webster Parish, just voted Gibbsland Bank and Trust the best bank and best customer service in Webster Parish. How you like them apples? You want great customer service? You want Gibbsland Bank and Trust, the great banking team.
Welcome to Walk-On's Bistro and Bar, where every dish starts from scratch. Fresh ingredients bring our food to life. Mouth-watering cuisine, unique flavors, and we're always more than happy to share our Southern charm and culture. A love of life, family, food, friends, fun, sports, and celebrations. Walk-Ons. It's game day with the taste of Louisiana.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? Well, what's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents. And when a kitten has a litter of oopsies and a puppy has a litter of uh-ohs, pretty soon you have thousands and thousands of OMGs. And that leads to millions of pets being killed in shelters each year. But if 80% of people with pets say they believe in spaying and neutering, then what gives? Turns out that those sweet little fuzzballs can get pregnant sooner than you think. A lot sooner. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. You just have to remember one number, 4, as in 4 months. When you bring home Maggie or Ruby or Puddles or Clyde, get them fixed at 4 months old. It can be old enough to get pregnant, and it's definitely young enough to make a difference. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
Tiger weather now.
A slight chance of thunderstorms here as we head into the afternoon, and a few of those storms could be strong to severe at 83. Thunderstorms are likely through the night tonight. Some of the storms strong to severe at 67. Scattered thunderstorms tomorrow. The rain could be heavy, 76. Showers and thunderstorms close out the week on Friday. Friday's high in the upper 70s. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
KWKH, Shreveport, Bossier City.
Princeton tackle at the 25, 10-5, touchdown, Tigers!
The thrill of victory. KWKH AM, Shreveport, Bossier.
Hey, you're going to want to listen to this?
The home of LSU sports is 1130 The Tiger.
Good afternoon. It's the Patrick Netherton Show.
Voice of the Demons, right?
Yes.
Touchdown, Demons!
Brined, marinated, or dry rubbed, it's sports the way you like it.
Sports Center top 10 right there!
Talking to the biggest names, bringing you the best interviews.
He actually smokes his beans.
Thank you, Mr. Know-It-All.
The cooler is full, and the brisket is resting.
Just a nice little pull, and it comes right apart. That's perfect.
We eat ribs with this dude.
Here's your master of ceremonies, the Kansas City Barbecue Society certified expert.
Throw the fade, looking for Ferguson.
Got it! Patrick Netherton.
13-yard touchdown. Demons are back in it. And good afternoon. We welcome you into the Patrick Netherton Show right here on 1130 The Tiger. Happy to have you with us. Pleased to be here. All of that stuff. Beautiful day, although apparently there's a bunch of nasty weather coming our way. Isn't that every day? Isn't every day where, now they've started with this this like red alert day now. This thing where they're like, oh, it's a red alert day. I'm like, can you maybe cool it with that? Like, I mean, do you red alert's only for the most severe of weather, right? Like, it seems like I looked on the map and it's like 5 days of the 7 are red alert days. I'm like, what does that mean? It's going to rain? Like, come on. The one thing I don't like, and look, Patrick Dennis, who used to do weather here locally, is a friend. I consider him a friend. But one of my least favorite things that weather people do is I do not like all the hyperbole. Like, yeah, okay, if you want to say, hey, there's a chance that maybe we'll get some severe weather, but it's got to be red alert. We're doing one of the stations is doing like a special report on it that you can get on your Roku or Fire Stick or Apple TV. Like, come on, man. Yeah, I get it. Like, we will get some severe weather on occasion, but cut it out with all of this. Like, I don't need to hear that this is going to be a red alert day. Like, just tell me, hey, there's a chance that we got some severe weather on the way. Red alert! The Klingons are attacking. Red alert! Shields up! Fire the phasers and the photon torpedoes. Like, that's what I think of. When I think of red alert, I think of Captain Kirk or Captain Picard, under attack by the Romulans. Right? That's what I think of when I hear red alert. Not, hey, there might be some hail coming in the area. Like, I don't know. I don't want to be like mad at the weather guy, but, and look, it doesn't bother me when they break into it does sometimes bother me when they break into programming. But I'm not one of these guys that's going to flip out because they break into programming. I already know what Rogers is cooking up over there. I see you cooking over there. I see what you're doing. You're listening to some music. I know it's coming up. Oh, maybe. All right. Yeah. So there's look. I didn't want to get off on. Hey, we're off the rails and we're 1 minute into the show. Well, yeah, they do, especially the first segment. If you want to hear sports, the first segment's not the time to tune into this show. But it always gets me when, the red alert, and we've got, there's Patino. Sometimes like what happened in Ruston, tragic, right? It was terrible. And it happened at 2 o'clock in the morning, so, the people weren't necessarily ready and up for it. I get it. And I'm not necessarily mad when they break into programming because I understand what they're doing. Now, it kind of frustrates me sometimes because, especially if it's prime time, now I got to go back and like find the show on the app and like watch the show. I got to go back and do that. It's not a huge inconvenience, but it's somewhat of an inconvenience. And I laugh when the people are like, well, they're just talking about tornadoes in South Arkansas. Well, yeah, that's part of the viewing area. I get it.
I mean, we are the Arklatex
we are.
For a reason.
We are, which is correct. Remind me again, Raj. Arklatex means
Noah's Ark.
Noah's Ark.
La for lakes because we have lakes.
I thought maybe it'd be La La Land, the movie.
Oh,
and then Tex
is Tex-Mex food.
Tex-Mex, or could it be Randall Tex Cobb?
It sure could be
the actor.
It sure could be.
Yeah.
What a mustache!
No, that guy was a large human being, no doubt about that. But it is the Patrick Netherton Show, and I love all the weathermen and the weather women and the weather people. I don't know what the gender neutral form of that's supposed to, weather persons. Like, I don't know. Do we call manhole covers person hole covers now? Like, I don't know. By the way, I brought that up. So I told you the story, Raj, about how we were having the class about little white lies, and I said that I don't choose to believe in the same God you believe in. And I'm at a Baptist university.
And you made a young lady have like a slight stroke?
Yeah, she had a minor in cardiac infarction. One of my favorite words, by the way. And then another time, Raj, we were talking about sort of political correctness. And I was, of course, because I'm an a-hole at times. You know this. And especially when it comes to those kind of arguments, I'll jump on the other side in a hurry just to get you going. And so I jumped on the other side, and they're all like, oh, yeah, we need to, it's not mailman anymore. It's mail person or letter carrier. And I'm like, are we going to turn manhole covers into people hole covers now? Like, where does it stop? And they're all shocked that I'm on that side of the argument, right? But I don't care. I was just doing it for fun and effect. I was just trying to get everyone
seems like they would
riled
have been in agreement with you because you were taking away a stereotype of a manhole cover and making it a
person
all
hole cover.
gender. Yeah.
I was like, are we going to call manhole covers person
They
hole
got to
covers?
be mad at somebody.
I mean, look, and I was like,
get off my manhole cover.
It's the mailman. Like, it doesn't matter what gender the mailman is. It's still the mailman. That's what we know that person as.
I mean, if we're going to play off our Mr. Rogers theme, Mr. McFeely, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
The best delivery guy ever.
Exactly. And so, come on. Like, what are we doing? So I was playing that role while I was in college. That was all the way back in like 98, I think, when I was still an a-hole in 98, or I guess maybe that was the burgeoning portion of that
you
for
were
me.
in your infancy.
Yes. Well, and you know what? I think I already had the Mr. Know-It-all personality developing back in that
Thank you,
day.
Mr. Know-It-all.
You're quite welcome.
And here, with his bird's eye view and a brain to match, is Mr. Know-It-all.
There you go. Such good stuff. Yes.
All right.
Someone said, you know, Matthew McConaughey has made love to one of those Lincolns. The way he talks about him, he's already done that. That's happened at some point. I don't know how you do that.
He just pulled off.
By the way, did you hear
over on the side of the road?
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Apparently, somebody got Raj. This has been months, maybe even years ago.
Yeah, it's been.
But somebody, this show, by the way, is all over the place right now. Not even close to on any topic of any discernment yet. There was a guy, I think, a couple of years ago that either got arrested or something for having sex with his car. That was a news story. Now I'm going to have to look it up.
Yeah.
That was
be careful what you Google in this building with the internet. We've gotten the trouble we've had. Edwards what hands?
It was a TLC story, Raj. TLC had a thing.
Don't go chasing waterfalls?
Well, TLC, the station, the Learning Channel.
TV.
Yes,
okay.
TV. The Learning Channel had a thing called My Strange Addiction. And that's the one where, like, people would eat, like, some lady would eat dryer lint, and, like, somebody...
I remember, and I don't have the stomach or the gag reflex for that show.
Well,
I know what you're talking about.
Well, one of the guys is a guy who has sex with cars. It's technically called mechaphilia or mechanophilia. This guy, Edward Smith, has claimed to have had sex with 1,000 cars and has defended his romantic feelings towards vehicles, Raj. I mean, I guess if that gets your engine revving, I guess. I don't know.
You want to race? If you insist.
Here we go.
Prize I can't resist.
Here comes the little...
Oh.
That's right.
What in the world?
That's actually ZZ Top.
Is it really?
Yeah, Manic Mechanic.
Doesn't sound like anything like them. It's crazy.
No, it's a very obscure but Manic Mechanic.
And only you could come up with something like that.
Thank you. I take that as a compliment.
No, it is. Trust me, it's a very large compliment. All right, so now that the show is completely off the rails in segment one, we welcome you in. It is the Patrick Netherton Show right here on 1130 The Tiger. We have already discussed weathermen. We have discussed having sex with cars, or mechanophilia, if you like. Or this show is all over the place, and we're not even 10 minutes into this one at this point. It's a little crazy, is all I'm saying. All right, so what do we have on the show today? We are going to give you the phone numbers and the text line and all that. We'll give it that in just a moment. But we've got a lot of stuff to discuss today. It is a very big show. We've got NBA to talk about. Oh boy, another someone wanted to talk off the air to Rogers. Oh no! Trust me. I'm trying not to keep the car thing going. All right. Well, that's an off the air story. All right, we appreciate it. You could tell it, but you don't want to. Right. We don't need to get on that road, Raj. We need to stay on the straight and narrow like this show always does. Right down the middle.
Absolutely.
On the rails. We're like a train that is never derailed. We are the Patrick Netherton Show. And I'm going to introduce him first.
Oh, yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm throwing him a curveball. Only 11 minutes in. Some kind of show, Raj.
Hey,
boy.
Hey, I don't think Fletcher realized what he was getting into when he approached you about this thing. He goes, what happened to y'all between the last time I worked with both of y'all? Oh, we got brandoed. So
well, and here's the thing. I told him from the beginning, like, I want editorial control of this show, and he said, no problem. You do what you want to do. And I don't know if this show is as entertaining as it is to me, or to you.
It may just be two old friends just yucking it up for as long as Fletcher's going to let us do it.
I hope it's entertaining.
Yes.
And look, and we part of the hook of this show is obviously we have great guests.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of the hook of the show. Is so if you can survive the segment where we get onto weathermen about being overly hyperbolic and having sex with cars.
I mean, here in 17 minutes.
Yeah.
We're going to talk some serious sports.
Exactly. We'll talk to Mike Detillier from WWL, who is one of the draft gurus, Saints guru, personnel guy. He's going to we're going to talk to him about the Saints draft. A lot of ways you can get in touch with the show. 318-320-1130. 318-320-1130 is the phone line. If you want the text line, it's 318-657-0-HAM. 318-657-0426. That's the text line. You can also find us on Twitter at Netherton Show. That's the show page, the show Twitter. You can find me at PT Netherton, and that guy over there is at Heyboy Rogers. And then, of course, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Netherton Show. We are, as always, broadcasting live on, I knew this was coming. There was no doubt about in my head that this was where you were headed. And now we're going to get kicked off of Facebook Live because I can't help but because then everybody that's on Facebook Live's they're not gonna have any idea. Hi, we're your weather girls. All right, I can't. We got to get out of here. Mike Detillier coming up in a couple minutes. A lot of stuff to talk about. We'll be back on the Patrick Netherton Show, 11:30. The Tiger.
Hi, we're your weather girls, and have we got news for you?
Hey, y'all know that GBT is also the place to go for when you're ready to purchase a home.
Yeah, Gibbsland Bank and Trust, they got loans for everybody.
They do. They're so helpful, they're kind, they're there to answer all your questions. They can really make the process of buying a house, especially for first homeowners, easy and smooth.
Real human beings, real human touch, the right people, the right bank. Gibbsland Bank and Trust, the great banking team.
Don't put your life on the line. Do what the pros do. Call 811 before you dig. Wait for the site to be marked. And always, always dig with care. LA One Call.
I'm Rocky Moselle with StarRegistry.com. Since we were children, we've been told to reach for the stars. It was great advice. Now it's a great gift. Name a star after someone. For $54 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit StarRegistry.com, we will name a star after someone very special to you and send an incredible personalized gift. The new star name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Call the Star Registry, 800-282-3333 or visit StarRegistry.com for the hottest gift.
Howdy, folks. Colonel Sanders here, and we're cooking up brand spanking new Cinnabon dessert biscuits, only at KFC. Can't think of a better way to end a fried chicken dinner than to have Cinnabon glaze and cream cheese frosting doing the tango on your taste buds. And for a limited time at KFC, we're giving away 4 of these Cinnabon dessert biscuits for free when you buy a 10-piece meal. Better hurry. I can't guarantee I won't eat all of them myself. Prices and participation may vary. Cinnabon is a registered trademark of Cinnabon SPV LLC, used under license.
The biggest stars on the planet come together for music's #1 night. The Billboard Music Awards, live, hosted by Kelly Clarkson.
I'm so excited!
With an opening performance from Taylor Swift everyone will be talking about. And live performances by the Jonas Brothers, Madonna and Maluma, Paula Abdul, and together live for the first time, BTS and Halsey.
What?
Plus a performance from Icon Award winner
Mariah Carey.
Kelly Clarkson hosts the Billboard Music Awards tonight
On NBC.
Find your favorite designers at our biggest savings during Macy's Friends and Family. Get extra 10 to 30% savings store-wide with your Macy's card or pass, plus 15% off beauty purchases with your pass. Spring's best styles, perfect gifts for Mother's Day, and more. Extra 10 to 30% savings for Friends and Family now through Sunday, May 5th. Savings off regular and sale prices, exclusions apply. Macy's Star Rewards now offers benefits everyone can enjoy no matter how they pay. Visit Macys.com/Star Rewards.
It's time for some Straight Talk. A phone with all the high-speed data you need is awesome. But 2 phones with unlimited data, that's double awesome. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get 2 lines with our ultimate unlimited plan for just $90. That's unlimited talk, text, and data on 2 lines for up to 45% less. All on America's best 4G LTE networks. Multiply your savings with Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart.
At 60 gigs, we reserve the right to review your account for usage in violation of Straight Talk's terms and conditions. Savings may vary.
Attention voters of Louisiana. Saturday, May the 4th is Election Day. Poll hours are 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Before you go, be sure to download our Go Vote mobile app to find your polling location, see what's on your ballot, and even mark your ballot as a guide to use while voting. Get the app today. That's GEAUX, Vote Mobile. Your vote matters, so go vote, Louisiana. Brought to you by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
This is Trace Atkins for the Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation. Growing up in Sarepta, I could see the value of agriculture every time I left the house. Whether it was timber going to the paper mill or cattle in a pasture, I knew the farmers, ranchers, and landowners were keeping my hometown on the map. And the Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation helps keep them in business. So join the Farm Bureau today. Become a member at lafarmbureau.org or call your parish Farm Bureau office. The Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation, the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
11:30 The Tiger, your home for LSU sports, powered by Jack Spring Electric.
Let's get to the meat of the matter with producer Rogers Hampton.
Hey, boy!
Here's your master of ceremonies, Patrick Netherton.
If it's LSU sports, it's on 11:30 The Tiger.
We welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show right here on 11:30 The Tiger. Coming up in about 10 minutes or so, we'll talk to Mike Detillier from WWL. Does a tremendous job breaking down everything having to do with the Saints, and we'll talk about the Saints draft class that they were able to procure. And we need to find out if Rodgers' cousin, Saquon Hampton, is going to get in the league. He's going to get on the roster so that we can get Rodgers an actual Hampton jersey. Also, what number do we think wouldn't it be crazy if Saquon was actually like a 34? Yeah. 44 would work because that's safeties can be in the 40s. So, wow. Could you imagine if that worked out where Saquon Hampton actually made the team and wore number 44? Holy cow, man. Then we could get Rodgers a 44 Hampton jersey.
Yeah. Yes.
That'd be pretty amazing.
That would be
Well,
awesome.
This show's already way off the rails.
But we're getting, we're back on the feeder street that gets to the right interstate.
We're getting back. We were talking about weathermen and red alerts and whatnot, panic and inducing weathermen. T-Gage says the weatherman tries to get people to panic so you'll watch him all day long. Yeah, you know what, though? Like, who's watching the weather guy at like 9:30 in the morning, right? Nobody's watching unless there's some storms or something, but at that point, you're not really watching. Draco says, very entertaining. I was asking if the show was actually entertaining or not. Draco says, very entertaining. Thank you, Draco. Much appreciated. And I guess, and roll tide. By the way, Nick Saban, new hip for that guy. He had to go and apparently was already back at work like, the day after it happened, and Miss Terry had to crack the whip and tell him to stay home and recover until he was actually good enough to go because he was back in the office. That guy's a workaholic. All right, coming up on the show today, we got to talk NBA playoffs. I actually watched a lot of the Rockets-Warriors game, which, and after all the talk in Game 1 about officiating controversies, The officials didn't do Jack Taco in that game. Like, the officials had nothing to do with that game. It was just, and it was a pretty well played game, even with
the officials are giving away Jack Taco.
Yeah, they are. It was that's
a whole different officiated game.
It's a really well played game, even with old One Eye Harden, and of course old 9-finger Curry over there. Like,
why couldn't it have been his shooting hand?
Yeah,
that could have turned everything.
It could have been the difference in the series.
But gee, Golden State won their first 2 games at home. That is a shocker.
It is a shocker, truly. And the interesting thing is, did you hear what Reggie Miller kept referring to the starting 5 of Golden State as?
What?
So apparently the lineup that Steve Kerr used was not a regular lineup through the course of the regular season. He basically had his superstars out there. He had Draymond, he had Durant, he had Curry, he had Klay Thompson, and then he had one other. I think it was
Livingston.
I think it was Iguodala.
Okay.
And he basically, that was his 5. And so I don't know why, but Reggie Miller kept referring to them as the Hampton 5. And I don't know if it's because, like, the Hamptons, right? Like, maybe they're I don't know. I don't know exactly why he kept referring to them as the Hampton 5.
I did not pick up on that.
But
I really did not.
The Hampton 5 over and over and over.
Usually I've got the sound down.
I know you do.
And I'm listening to some music in the background, or I'm flipping back and forth between something else I've caught. But, wow. I wonder what.
So
Hampton
I'm looking it up.
The proud, the prestigious.
How did the Warriors get the nickname the Hamptons 5? Now, this is what I thought. It had something to do with the Hamptons itself, like the vacation spot.
Hamptons,
right?
Yeah,
So
uppity.
We're in the Hamptons.
We're the starting of the start.
It says, if you've been watching the playoffs, you may have heard of the Golden State Warriors starting their Hamptons 5 lineup. And if you're like me, and this is some writer for SI, you're probably wondering why a team from the West Coast was referring to a rich area in New York for their nicknames. Turns out the Hamptons 5 nickname originates from Kevin Durant's free agency meeting with Golden State. Just weeks after blowing their 3-1 lead against the Cavs, Durant expressed interest in playing in the Bay, and the Warriors pursued. They met at the Hamptons on Long Island, and to convince Durant, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Andre Iguodala all showed up to the meeting in the Hamptons. So that's why they're called the Hamptons 5. But instead of calling them the Hamptons 5, Reggie Miller kept calling them the Hampton 5. And I'm like, are they all related to Rodgers in some way?
I mean, it's the easiest 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. But I didn't understand. I kept going, the Hamptons 5 would make sense, although it's not very... It doesn't flow very well. With the S at the end,
yeah.
It's not, no offense, guy who has an S at the end of his first
Believe
name.
me, it's been a lifetime issue.
No, forgive me, guy who is repeatedly referred to as Roger.
Yeah. Rodger.
Yeah, or just Roger. R-O-G-E-R. Yeah, no, anything but Rogers.
Yeah.
So,
but Raj I'll live with.
So I'm but he kept saying the Hampton 5.
Okay.
And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. The Hamptons 5 makes sense, although again, not a particularly good,
doesn't really flow.
Not a particularly good nickname. All right, so we got to talk the NBA playoffs.
All right,
we've got to talk about we'll talk a little Major League Baseball. Also, we've got to talk about the NFL draft. We'll do that with Mike Detillier coming up in just a couple of minutes. We also are going to discuss this trial that's going on. Dawkins has taken the stand, and Sean Miller is getting thrown under the bus and run over repeatedly.
And Will Wade's like, I'll be back in just a little bit, guys.
Yeah,
take a little bathroom trip while Sean's getting.
I don't know what is happening now. We already know that both Sean Miller and Will Wade are not going to be required to testify. The judge already ruled that, but we're getting the wiretaps out. Now, the wiretap that Will Wade is on has not come out yet, but we are getting wiretaps between Christian Dawkins and Arizona assistant coach Book Richardson. So we got to talk about that. We're going to discuss that and what that might mean for Will Wade moving forward, and if we will see some Will Wade. A couple of texts before we get to the break at 318-657-0HAM, 318-657-0426. We talked about Saban's hip. Cody said a new hip from being donkey kicked by Dabo Sweeney. Well, he hadn't done well against Dabo here in the last couple of times. Got a 318 number, says the first time listening, The Hampton Five is in reference to that when they recruited Katie to be on the team. They did it in the Hamptons that summer. Thank you, sir. And by the way, if you don't know me by now, and since it's your first time listening, I'll assume you don't, most of the time I'm going to look up things I don't know. Because one thing I learned how to do, and the reason my nickname is what it is.
Thank you, Mr. Know-It-All.
Correct. It's because I can Google quickly. That's basically why my nickname developed. Now, I know a lot of stuff. I do know a lot of things naturally, but I can Google fast. And so that's why I'm Mr. Know-It-All. So what you'll find is I will typically have looked it up and be ready to go. And because that's what I used to do on the Brando show. Half the stuff that came out of Brando's mouth that sounded really smart and, he knew this fact right off the top of his head was me feeding it into his ear. All right? Not to break the mystery of how the Brando show worked, but there was a lot of stuff being fed into Mr. Brando's ear is all I'm saying. 318 says Rogers is not a normal name. It gets auto-corrected a lot. You're correct. It does. I imagine. Well, yeah. Well, I was going to say Rogers, but my mouth auto-corrected it to Roger. So I don't know what happened. All right, coming up in just a couple of minutes, we'll talk to Mike Detillier from WWL. He will join us to talk about the Saints draft. And then we'll talk the NCAA trial. We'll talk about the NBA draft, the NFL draft coming up. Talk about the NBA playoffs, maybe some Major League Baseball. A lot of stuff to get to. It's the Patrick Netherton rocking and rolling. And, hey, if you're a first-time listener, tell all your friends. Where else are you going to hear about people having sex with cars than on the Patrick Netherton Show? Take a break. Come back with more after this.
In Louisiana, there are thousands of miles of utility lines and gas pipelines buried just beneath the surface. Sometimes multiple lines are in one area. So if your contractor you hire is digging a hole to put in a new fence, a pool, or any other reason, you run the risk of hitting an underground line even by digging only a few inches. What happens then? Maybe you only knock out power for your entire neighborhood. But sometimes there's an explosion with injuries and even death. It happens every year. And there's a very simple way to avoid it. Before you dig, call 811. Call 811 2 days before you dig. Tell the operator your address and someone will come out and mark the location of buried lines so you or your contractor can avoid them. Simple, right? It's free of charge and it's the law. Louisiana One Call operates 811 as a public service and to promote public safety. Louisiana One Call on this station reminds you call 811 and know it's below before you dig.
What does building a better bank look like? It starts with building Capital One cafes, warm, inviting places that feel nothing like a typical bank, where you can open an account with no fees or minimums in 5 minutes. And you'll always find people ready to help you, not sell you. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One and a member FDIC. Cafes available in select locations. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
Get up first thing, smoke a cigarette. Before lunch, after lunch. Now that I'm talking about it, I'm kind of feeling like I've lost about 4 hours of every day. I decided I needed to find an alternative. So I started looking and then Juul came up. I did both for a while. Eventually I just switched over and it's very quick.
Mimi made the switch July 2015. Make the switch at JUUL.com. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
RV Collision Repair, your complete body repair and rental specialist. RV Collision Repair specializes in roof repair and replacement, paint and body repair, and blowout damage. RV Collision Repair in Bossier City, 675-9699. Or find them online at BossierRVCollisionRepair.com.
The biggest stars on the planet come together for music's #1 night. The Billboard Music Awards live, hosted by Kelly Clarkson.
I'm so excited!
With an opening performance from Taylor Swift, everyone will be talking about. And live performances by the Jonas Brothers, Madonna and Maluma, Paula Abdul, and together live for the first time, BTS and Halsey.
What?
Plus a performance from Icon Award winner
Mariah Carey.
Kelly Clarkson hosts the Billboard Music Awards tonight
On NBC.
Floating through the airways like smooth hickory smoke, Patrick Netherton.
Where Shreveport and Bossier come for LSU Sports, 1130 The Tiger.
We welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show right here on 1130 The Tiger. He is Roger Sampton. I am Patrick Netherton. We are pleased to have you with us. Beautiful Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. It's going to be May. I forgot we've got all the Justin Timberlake. Raj, we got to get It's Going to Be Me on at some point on the show. I don't know if we've got any in sync or in the system, but yeah, I'll have to. I think it's going to be me, but the way he pronounces it's gonna be May. That's the big meme for May 1st. No, it's with NSYNC, I believe. All right, Raj will check on it. But first, we got to talk a little NFL draft, and no better guy to do it than WWL's own Mike Detillier. My man knows all the stuff going on in the draft. I mean, first, it's the first time we've had Mike on the show. So, Mike, welcome, brother. Good to have you on finally, my friend.
My pleasure. Thank you, Patrick.
Hey, so give me some indication of what you were looking at in terms of the Saints draft, what you anticipated, and did you get kind of what you thought you would?
You know, it was so hard because of where you were picking at in round 2.
Right.
And, you know, my first thought is, in listening to Coach Payton, he really wanted a big man, either an offensive lineman, defensive lineman, in the second round. But he knew he couldn't stay pat. So he had to move up to get McCoy. And it was funny, as we were doing the broadcast, you know, I told Zach Strief maybe 20 minutes before the trade happened, if they're trading up, they're trading for McCoy. I know what the loss is of Max Unger. It's the best center this football team's had in 20 years.
Yeah.
And that's a major one, right up the middle. And, you know, and talking to so many college coaches today along with the pros, how you get pressure today is different. It's not all off the edge. It's right up the middle today. They want to blow up your launching pad, and you can't step up. And there's not as many edge guys anymore. 7-on-7 changed that world. You know, doing these 7-on-7 camps, you know, I see all these 6'3+ guys and ask them, oh, well, you know, what are you playing defense? Oh, no, sir. I'm playing wide receiver and tight end. You know, I don't play no defense. So you get it. That's where it's going to happen. You got to protect that inside pocket. And so, again, way down the line, I thought they were more likely to get a skill player as a wide receiver or a tight end. But in moving up, I do listen. And when Sean made those comments a few times about, you know, I like to bolster my offensive line, like to get another pressure guy, that kind of set you off on what you're going to go for. And I like to pick a McCoy. He ain't a watcher. He's playing, and he's starting day one at center.
Yeah.
Nick Easton, he ain't beating him out. Eric McCoy is the guy.
Yeah, and he's nasty too. You know, I've gotten Northwestern State played A&M last year, and he was just a monster inside. I mean, you know, look, there's obviously a talent and a size disadvantage anyway, but McCoy just pretty much did whatever he wanted in that game, and you know, he looked like the best offensive lineman on A&M that day, and no surprise that he would be a guy that was picked that high.
Yeah, Patrick. The other thing too is I talked to Jimbo. This was late August last year, and they tell me, Michael, the best player on my team's at center, McCoy. And again, I listen. You know, listen, Jimbo could have went a lot of different ways with that, and he said it right off the bat. You know, it was Eric McCoy, and that's impressive when your coach signals you out like that before you've even snapped the ball one play in 2018. So,
yeah. And even more impressive,
a guy that's going to be in here, barring an injury. You know, he just started here for a long time at that center position. Mm-hmm. Really good run blocker. I think other than the final score and what happened late, the one thing that drove LSU and Coach O up the wall was that A&M rushed, you know, Travion Williams rushed for over 200 yards against LSU.
Yep.
So Eric McCoy, he was kicking, you know, that nose guard right back, and his work against the Quinnen Williamses of the world and the Wilkins and Lawrence combination Clemson had, that was impressive to me. He more than held his own. He's a good pass protector. And, again, he's a guy that's plug and play. He's ready to roll. And on this team's a little bit different than others. On some other teams with a young quarterback, you making all the calls. On the Saints team, Drew makes the calls at the line of scrimmage.
Well, the only learning curve is just the verbiage of the offense. You know that because
and he'll pick that up real quick. He's a real sharp guy, and again, I think the one thing with training camp, which I don't even get anymore, because it's pajamas and slippers 80% of the time.
Right.
That's a lot of the teaching that goes on. The verbiage, a little bit of technical work, and they hardly hit it all, and so that's a lot going on with understanding your protection. One thing what Drew's going to stress is, hey, when they're going to blitz up the middle, you got to pick up that dude. You got to pick him up, because you see a lot of delays now with a linebacker and a safety on delays right up the middle. When you have that type safety that can do it, you're shooting him up late, so the center's got to be able to pick that up.
Talking to Mike Detillier, who is good a draft expert as any you're going to find. He just so happens to be in New Orleans. Mike, you've got speaking of safeties, back-to-back safety picks, including Rogers Hampton's cousin Saquon Hampton. I'm sure they're related somewhere. My producer, we see a lot now in the NFL that we're getting a lot of 3 safety looks defensively. A lot of where they're almost a 4-2-5, where they're pulling that weak side line or the strong side linebacker out, and they're putting that hybrid safety in his place in a lot of downs. I would imagine both of these safeties, Gardner Johnson and Hampton, I would imagine help fill that role because you can't really have too many good, versatile safeties.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. Dennis Allen told us Saturday, 76% of the time, they're in the nickel or dime defense.
Mm-hmm.
We had Coach O on with us, Bobby and I, Monday night. He said that, his numbers show 78% at LSU. So, I mean, come on, that's what you got to do. You got to match up downfield, 3 wide receivers. And even if they play a tight end, it's rare they play one in line. He's flanked out. He's a pumped-up wide receiver. You got to match. Those 250-pound linebackers, there's only a few of those guys that can match up against those athletic receivers or tight ends. You got to match up downfield. And so that's where a guy like Chauncey Gardner and Hampton come into play. Chauncey, at that point, was my highest-ranked player on the board. He was my 37th ranked overall player in this draft class. You get him in the 4th round.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things is, I know the defensive coordinator pretty well at Florida. He did with him what he did with Jonathan Abram at Mississippi State the year before. He used him free safety, strong safety, in the slot, in the box like a linebacker, and he blitzed him off the edge. 9 pass interceptions, 3 of them he brought back for touchdowns. You want to see Chauncey Gardner Johnson make plays? Flip on that Chick-fil-A bowl. He wasn't playing against chopped liver. Man, Shea Patterson, he's going to end up either being a first or real early second-round pick next year.
Right.
He picked off 2 of his passes, brought one back for a score. So he broke the back of Michigan in that football game. And I think with these hybrid defenses that you see today, if it's 4-2-5 or whatever, I think you're seeing a lot of that. And so you need them. And Hampton did the exact same thing at Rutgers. In essence, he played in the box. He played free. He played strong. He played center high. So you need those type people. Also, too, both of them can help you out on special teams. Because, man, I don't believe this, this line that people shoot you. Oh, the Saints are so good, guys can't make their roster. What?
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me. All I know is the Patriots the last 5 years have averaged 18 new people on their roster every year. Look how many rings they got. Man, don't fling me that line that they can't make it. And if somebody's on another roster, guess what? They didn't help you. It's great to pick them and they're somewhere else, but you want them to help you. That's why I feel much better about this draft class than I did a year ago, and why I think a lot of Davenport, and I think he's going to be a really good player. Some of the other picks, I get it. They guys are going to bounce around the league. but they're not going to have an impact on your football team. That's what you're worried about. You're not worried about if they help Indianapolis or Tennessee or Chicago, whoever. No, you want them to help you at this point. So I like the 2 safety picks.
The next pick, I think, is maybe the most intriguing of the entire draft day for the Saints, and that's Alize Mack from Notre Dame, the tight end. It's a guy that has the size. He's got good speed. I mean, he could be, your next great tight end, but the major question mark for him was hands, which is not exactly what you want to have as a major question mark for a guy who's catching passes. But Mike, this is a guy that if he comes in and works right and has the right impact, he could definitely be a guy that makes a major difference to this New Orleans Saints offense, which, as we all know, once Ben Watson went down, they're missing a tight end.
Yeah, and again, this football team, and Ben did it 2 years ago, but he hit the football wall last year. God bless him. He just it's time for him to go. And he can't play anymore at that same level. And so when I look at Jared Cook and I look at Alize Mack, they almost similar athletically.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, they're built the same. Their strengths are the same. They're able to go down the middle of the field and kind of break that seam. And Mack, I never understood why he signed with Notre Dame to begin with. I had friends of mine that were trying to recruit him and said, in what they do offensively and their quarterback situation, who's going to get him the ball?
Yeah.
He did catch, 30 passes last year, but still, he wasn't the huge impact player that we've seen from, say, Tyler Eifert, who was there years ago at that school. So I look at him. He's a really good athlete. He can really run. He's very inconsistent, and you got to stay on his backside. He's one of these guys that sort of needs to be prodded to get the very most out of him. And listen, some guys are like that. And his maturity level certainly got better at Notre Dame than it was when he first got there. But he got the right coach here in New Orleans. The only thing I know about Dan Campbell, ain't nobody slacking off with Dan. Either that or you got a major problems on your hands to deal with the coach. So I like the pick late. He was my 10th rated tight end. He's on the all-potential team, which means he ain't done it. So now you got to get the most out of him. And he was okay as a blocker. He flashed it as a receiver. It's just for him to piece it all together. You look early in the career of Jared Cook, that was the exact same way. And he talked about it, about his maturity, that he found out it's not the quarterback not getting me the ball. I got to get open, and I got to make the catch. So 2 similar type players, and you press the right buttons, you got something there. You really do.
No doubt about it. And we know Drew, nobody loves throwing that seam pass more than Drew Brees does. There's no doubt about that. Talking to Mike Detillier from WWL. By the way, just completely off subject though, Mike, if Alize comes in and is good for New Orleans, doesn't he have to change his first name to maybe Sazerac? Because, Alize is not a famous New Orleans drink, but Sazerac would be. I think he's got to change his first name if he sticks with the Saints. That's just my personal opinion.
Well, we tried to get him to admit, man, listen, you got to have some Creole somewhere along the line here. And he was like, no. He was like, no, I'm from Southern California, but, my family moved to Nevada. I don't know about the Creole roots. And Hebert,
sure.
He prodded him to get him to admit something that he didn't know too much about. But, yeah, that would be fun. But, man, that first name, no question about it, it certainly has some Southern flavor to it.
No doubt about that. Mike, last thing before I let you go, now that the draft is complete, obviously, maybe we'll see we've seen the undrafted free agents now being signed. Is there anyone that you look at that you say, either in this draft class or the undrafted free agents that you look at and say this could be a surprise guy that maybe we didn't see coming?
I think they're still not finished with free agency yet, veteran free agency. I'm convinced of that they would still like to get a pass rusher here. Ziggy Ansah is still available. He's not fully healthy, coming off the shoulder injury. And Ziggy would sign a 1 year. Whoever's going to sign him is going to be a 1 year deal.
Right.
Come on, it's a prove-it moment for him. But if I'm Ziggy, man, I ain't signing with Detroit or Buffalo. I'm signing me with a team that I think can get into the playoffs, and then I showcase my skills. And then, I throw myself back out on the market after that. So I think Ziggy's an interesting watch here. Because Sean has continuously talked about, I want to help the pass rush, I want to help the pass rush. And when you look at this football team, and they will start the season without Sheldon Rankin.
Yep.
He won't be back until late October. David Onyemata is going to face a suspension from the NFL. If it's 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, who knows? But he's going to have a suspension. So already your defensive line, the defensive tackle class has been kind of clipped a little bit there. And I don't know Ndamukong Suh, but I know people around him that have told me that Suh would like to stay out west. That, he's from Oregon. He enjoys the California lifestyle, and he wants to get into the tech business. And so if that's the case, then I would think, he's going to sign with one of those teams.
Right.
Even the Saints win. I think that's something that, knowing Sean, he ain't never finished doing anything. He always wants to add to the cart. There's not a position of luxury on this football team. And I like his thinking in comparison sometimes to fans who think, this team's so good, we don't need to add something else. When the NFL, you don't stay the same.
No.
Either you're getting better or you're getting worse. It's one of the two. You don't stay exactly the same. Well, unless you're the Patriots, but they don't even stay the same personnel-wise. So defensive line to me, Patrick, I think is an area they would like to upgrade in the offseason veteran free agency.
We look forward to getting you back on as we get closer to training camp, brother.
Anytime, Patrick. Appreciate it, buddy.
All right, Mike Detillier. That accent's so good. So good. And by the way, he has no idea just how right he was when he was talking about Rodgers' cousin Saquon, when he said things like Hampton plays in the box and Hampton center high. He just had no idea what he was talking about, had no clue at just how right he actually was. Because we know Hampton likes to play in the box, and we know that Hampton is often center high. There's no doubt about that. Of course, Saquon Hampton's a safety. We'll take a break. Come back with more of the patch. Oh, look at you! He found it! This is the May the 1st meme, if ever there was. I hope Greg's listening right now. This is it, Rodgers, because when you hear him, because it's Justin Timberlake who's singing, but when you hear him say, it's gonna be me, because that's the name of the song, it's gonna be me, he says, it's gonna be me. And so that's everyone's meme and has been for the last 4 or 5 years. That's what they want to, use for May the 1st. Because every little thing I do never seems enough for you. So here you're going to hear him say, it's gonna be May, because it's May the 1st, so we got to play it. That's the rules. I don't make them. Here we go.
It's gonna be May.
May the 1st, baby. Patrick Netherton Show, 11:30 The Tiger.
You got no choice.
Welcome to Walk-On's Bistro and Bar, where every dish starts from scratch. Fresh ingredients bring our food to life. Mouth-watering cuisine, unique flavors, and we're always more than happy to share our Southern charm and culture. A love of life, family, food, friends, fun, sports, and celebrations. Walk-Ons. It's game day with the taste of Louisiana.
We have been preaching this for so long, but it's nice to hear it from other sources as well. Gibbsland Bank and Trust certainly knows about customer service. The Minden Press Herald, our buddies over there in Webster Parish, just voted Gibbsland Bank and Trust the best bank and best customer service in Webster Parish. How you like them apples? You want great customer service? You want Gibbsland Bank and Trust, the great banking team.
This week, find great deals at Walgreens. Now, select varieties of all brand laundry detergent $2.99 with card. And get wonderful pistachio select varieties $4.99 with online coupon and card. Get great deals on the essentials you need right here at your neighborhood Walgreens. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. While supplies last, restrictions and exclusions apply. See store for details.
Jared has hundreds of gifts you could get Mom this Mother's Day, like a tennis bracelet.
Aww.
Or a diamond necklace.
Thank you, sweetie.
But there's only one that will make her feel like this.
Yes!
With Jared's Diamond Price Match Guarantee, you can finally get Mom the one gift she's always wanted.
Oh, I love you so much.
For you to get engaged. Shop at a Jared store today and dare to be devoted.
We promise to match any price on a loose certified diamond of the same characteristics and quality from any other jewelry retailer as validated by Jared personnel in store. See jared.com/price match for details.
The biggest stars on the planet come together for music's #1 night. The Billboard Music Awards live, hosted by Kelly Clarkson.
I'm so excited.
With an opening performance from Taylor Swift, everyone will be talking about. And live performances by the Jonas Brothers, Madonna and Maluma, Paula Abdul, and together live for the first time, BTS and Halsey.
What?
Plus a performance from Icon Award winner
Mariah Carey.
Kelly Clarkson hosts the Billboard Music Awards tonight
On NBC.
Get what you want from Target today with same-day delivery. We bring it to your front door so you can do more of what you love. Want more nap time? We'll bring the diapers and wipes. Want more greatness for your game night? We'll bring the snacks and the cards. Want more time around the table? We'll bring that missing ingredient. And maybe some dessert too. You order, we shop, you keep doing your thing. Try Target same-day delivery. Shopped by Shipt. Restrictions may apply.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, if your wireless bill is growing out of control like some crazy, obnoxious weed, time to take some clippers to it. Cut that bill in half with Straight Talk Wireless. For just $45 a month, you can get 25 gigs of high-speed data for half the cost of big carriers. All on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. No contracts, no mystery fees, ever. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart.
Savings may vary. See straighttalk.com.
I love cuddling on that couch with you.
I love cuddling on the couch with you.
I'm going to
too.
put
Wait,
my
are you talking
feet
to me or the
underneath
doggies?
your legs because my toesies are cold.
No, golly, what do you do with these
freezing.
things?
It's so cold in here.
Are they dipped in daiquiris? Seriously.
Maybe we need to turn the heat up.
That's not a bad idea. Is there any way that Accutem could put a couch heater in this thing? Accutem, 861-2255. Please warm up my wife's feet. You know, Nicole, they say I've got an electric personality. Does that help me out at First Choice Personnel?
It would help you. I'm looking for electrical or mechanical, technical people.
I'm not so mechanical, but I do have an electric personality.
Sounds good. You come my way. Let me see what I can do for you.
All right, 797-7810, 797-7810. First Choice Personnel, make First Choice your last call.
11:30 The Tiger, your home for LSU sports, powered by Jack Spring Electric. KWKH, Shreveport, Bossier City. If it's LSU sports, it's on 11:30 The Tiger.
We welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show right here on 11:30 The Tiger. Terrific interview with Mike Detillier. He and Bobby Hebert. By the way, we're going to have Hebert on here before too long, too. The old Cajun cannon. We'll chat with him before too long. But if you have any questions about the draft class for the New Orleans Saints, I hope you got some of those answered with Mike Detillier. And I thought it was interesting. We talked about how, Raj, you and I had talked about how playing three safeties has become such a very prominent thing defensively.
Absolutely.
And because of that, the double safety pick ends up being a pretty good one between the safety from Florida and your cousin Saquon from Rutgers. And by the way, I was glad to hear from Mike Detillier because look, I haven't studied film on any of these guys. I didn't know Saquon Hampton from Rogers Hampton Sr. It's the only Hamptons. Wade Hampton, was that Uncle Wade?
No, that was great. That was great grandpa.
Great grandpa Wade.
Yeah.
Now I don't know which I don't know which Hampton it was that gambled away all the fortune.
That was great-grandpa
Was that
Wade.
great-grandpa Wade?
Yeah.
Wade Hampton? Dang it.
He had 3
Wade.
sons, Wade Jr., Glenn, and my grandfather, Perry.
There you go.
Which was my dad's dad.
There you go. Well, I didn't know, don't know a lot of Hamptons other than now Saquon and Rogers. Those are and Lauren, obviously. I know Lauren. I know a little bit. So those are the only Hamptons I know right now, and cousin Saquon. But I was glad to hear Mike say, look, he's a guy that studies this stuff. He's a draft expert. And to hear him say that Saquon Hampton is a guy that is very versatile, is a good player, is a guy that likely will stick, that just increases the likelihood that we're going to be able to get Rodgers a Hampton New Orleans Saints jersey. And it's not going to be one that he just has to go to the customized one where you can put, Ron Mexico or whatever on the back of it.
This will actually be a player and my last name, so I'll win no matter what.
Yeah. So that is it's going to be very interesting. I'm very curious to see how he will end up being. So if you want to talk about the Saints draft, we certainly can. If you would like to talk about anything else, we're going to talk some NBA. We're going to talk the Christian Dawkins trial. That's going on right now. Dawkins is finally on the stand in his own defense, and some wiretaps are dropping about Sean Miller. We'll discuss that. You can call us at 318-320-1130, 318-320-1130. You can text us at 318-657-0HAM, 318-657-0426. I want to talk about Arkansas for a second, but before I do, let's get to one text. Cody says that McCoy, that's the new center that the Saints drafted, better be good, considering Devin White's going to be running full steam right at him. Poor Drew. Nah, man. Now that Devin White's gone from LSU and he's a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, all his powers are gone. He's no longer going to be the best linebacker in the country. The Saints are going to tear that tail up. We all know this. Rodgers has ultimate divided loyalties now that Devin White, Spring Hill's not exactly in our backyard, but it's close enough. We can claim him.
Absolutely.
North Webster.
Except for 2 games a year, I hope he has good individual numbers.
Yeah.
Because
I hope
good Tampa Bay is not good for the division that,
I hope he has
Saints
good individual numbers in every game. I just need him to lose twice.
And not touch Drew at all.
Right. He needs to stay away from Drew Brees.
Let Ryan Ramsey say, hey, buddy,
Yeah.
This is mine.
Or Eric McCoy,
Any of them.
The new center.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what the texter was saying.
Because
McCoy better be good.
Again.
Yeah.
Especially if he pulls.
Yeah. They pull the center. They don't do a lot of. They don't do a lot of center pulling.
Do that anymore.
They do a little bit. They did a little bit with. They would get Unger out on the move occasionally, especially in the screen game. They
losing
get
him very much concerned me. This really helps me calm down with the offensive line position. Now you got multiple guys who can play guard and center, and you got your tackles that are good. You're definitely better at the tight end position. It's good.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
It's good.
Raj, let's talk about Arkansas for a second, because word came out about an hour ago or a couple hours ago that Arkansas will finally, for the first time since 1944, they will play an in-state opponent in football. They will play Arkansas Pine Bluff. They will play UAPB in October of 2021 and August of 2024. Now, Raj, if only someone had listened a couple of weeks ago to the Patrick Netherton Show, say last Monday, when the Patrick Netherton Show had on the baseball coach from Arkansas, who talked at length about how he wanted to play in-state opponents in baseball, but the previous 2 athletic directors wanted nothing to do with it. But the new athletic director, Hunter Yurachek, was okay with it. So the baseball team has played UAPB and Little Rock. And Raj, didn't that same baseball coach that appeared on the Patrick Netherton Show mention that the only in-state schools they're allowed to play right now are within the Arkansas system? I seem to remember that from this Dave Van Horn, this Arkansas baseball coach that was on the Patrick Netherton Show. And wouldn't you know it, the football team has scheduled an in-state opponent for the first time in 75 years literally 75 years, although technically the game's not being played for 2 more years, so it'll be 77 years at that point. And it's, what do you know, a member of the Arkansas system. Raj, it's almost like listening to the Patrick Netherton Show will make you smarter and make you aware of these kind of things. So when you hear that Arkansas has scheduled UAPB, you don't have to go, well, wow, why didn't they schedule Arkansas State? Or why didn't they schedule Central Arkansas? Or why didn't they schedule any of the Division II teams in the state? And it's because if you listen to the Patrick Netherton Show, you heard Dave Van Horn say the only schools they're allowed to schedule in state right now are in the Arkansas system. And that limits it to 2, Raj. Arkansas Pine Bluff and Arkansas Little Rock. And guess which one of those doesn't have a football program? Little Rock. So, who you got left? UAPB. And that's who they're playing. I love being on the vanguard of things, Raj. I like knowing that we educated the masses a full week plus before stories like this came out. We told you, or Dave Van Horn told you, that Hunter Yurachek was open to playing in-state schools. So this is not a bombshell report that Arkansas is agreeing to play an in-state school or that it's UAPB, because we had Dave Van Horn on, and he told you exactly how that was all going to play out. Amazing how that happens. By the way, Grambling played Arkansas last night in baseball. Don't know if you saw that. They played in Little Rock. Remember, Dave Van Horn, not a fan of playing at the AA field because of the way the grass is handled. Oh, and by the way, Raj, while I was in Fayetteville last week for the 2-game set with Arkansas, let me tell you something. That grass at that stadium, you could lay down and take a nap on it.
Is that right?
It's that kind of carpet. Complete natural grass, an entirely natural field, which is very rare these days.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, just a lush, green, beautiful field up there at Baum Walker Stadium. But anyway, Raj, just thought everyone should know. I don't want to hurt myself patting myself on the back for that one, but we kind of told you.
Please maybe stretch next time.
We kind of told you that this was happening, and so it should not be a surprise. Matter of fact, you should tell your friends, your Arkansas friends especially, hey, you know what? I heard on the Patrick Netherton Show, I heard Dave Van Horn last Monday, and he mentioned that they were that Hunter Yurachek was easing those restrictions on playing the in-state schools, but they're only playing the other schools within the Arkansas system, so it makes sense that it'd be UAPB in 2021 and 2024. But Raj, you know, I went to school in Arkansas, and I already have one of my friends who is a devoted Razorback fan.
Okay.
Who says, I don't like it. He doesn't want to play in state schools. And this goes back to that very backward way of thinking that there is nothing for the big school to gain in playing these. But as I told Raj right before I went on right before my show, actually, on Tuesday of last week from Arkansas, I actually did an interview with a guy from El Dorado. And he asked me about that. And I told him, I said, look, this is good for everyone in the state. Not only does it raise it automatically raises the profile of the big school, but it even more so raises the profile of the little school. And you add to that there's also a real sentiment to keeping the money within the state. And that's something that needs to happen. You need to keep the money in the state. And I don't think that that's something that is a bad thing at all. You need to keep the money in the state. Raj, I'm watching one of our town square employees who I think has maybe a bee or a wasp around her car door because she just went and got a giant fly swatter. Which, by the way, who carries a fly swatter in their car? And she is going to work on knocking something away from her driver's side door. It just amused the heck out of me. She got him. I think it's dead. I don't know. But she has something that looks like a fly swatter. I don't know exactly what it is, but yeah, like who carries a fly swatter in their car, for goodness sakes? I hope she gets it. I hope she doesn't get stung. That's not any fun. But here's what I want to know. If you're an Arkansas fan, are you upset? Are you mad? I know this hadn't come out yet, Raj, so I'm actually curious what our boy Fletcher has to say in the morning. But you know what? He's lived in Louisiana long enough that he's used to the big state schools.
He's an advocate of playing in-state schools.
Because he's so used to the in-state school, the big flagship school, playing the smaller schools within the state. The Arkansas people have no concept of this. Again, we talked about, Raj, the last time with Dave Van Horn when he was on. The last time Arkansas baseball played Little Rock was over 100 years ago. The last time that Arkansas football played an in-state opponent, they played Arkansas Monticello. Uh-oh. The Wasp, I think, maybe made a move. I don't know if it's a wasp or a bee or some sort of flying insect over there. Oh, she had to jump back. She didn't know where it went. Oh, get it. Oh, back up. I'm having fun calling play-by-play of oh, no, she's running. Oh, it got after her. I think she's okay, though. She does have is that a fly swatter, or is that that looks like one of those big fans that you, on the end of a stick that you use to fan yourself at like a sporting event? I don't know. Whatever it is, she's trying to kill something over there that's preventing her from getting in her car and going about her business. So hope it works out for her. But I want to know from Arkansas fans, because the people that have grown up in the state of Arkansas are ones that have no concept of the big school, Arkansas, the University of, playing any other in-state schools. And so a lot of them have this feeling that, it can only be a negative, right? They only have things to lose, because if you lose to Arkansas Pine Bluff, it's an embarrassment. And if you beat Arkansas Pine Bluff, you're supposed to beat Arkansas Pine Bluff. And I just don't see it that way. Not to mention the fact that it's rare that you'll lose a football game like that. Now, you're going to lose some basketball games like that. You're going to lose some Van Horn and the baseball team already lost to Little Rock earlier this year. All right, but that's not necessarily embarrassment. Rod, she got it. She's in the car and she's driving off. Congratulations. I hope she's listening to 11:30 The Tiger. Yeah. Bees! They're huge and sting crazy. Your firearms are useless against them. Oh, man. So basically what you have is you have a scenario whereby all of the Arkansas fans have no concept of playing in-state schools, so they don't know the benefits of it. When Louisiana Tech goes to LSU for football and basketball and baseball, and when Northwestern State goes to LSU for football this coming year, and they'll go there for basketball, and they'll go there for baseball, or as the case was this year, baseball will come to them. All of this is good for the state of Louisiana. It raises the profile of all of the other programs within the state. It also keeps the money all within the state of Louisiana. I don't understand, if you're an Arkansas fan, would you rather give the money to Pine Bluff, or would you rather give the money to Samford or East Tennessee State, or bring in some, Oklahoma Baptist? Would you rather keep the money in state, or would you rather send your hard-earned Walmart money in Fayetteville out to all the other places in the country? No, you need to keep that money in state. And will UAPB beat Arkansas in football? Not, I would say, I'm not going to say not a chance, but not very likely. But at the same time, isn't that a cool thing for them to be able to experience? And doesn't that raise the profile of UAPB? So why the heck, as an Arkansas fan, are you going to be mad that your team is going to play another in-state opponent? Again, this happened under Skip Burtman. Skip Burtman changed the entire complexity of LSU athletics when he made it a priority to play in-state schools in all of these various sports. And it's changed things in Louisiana immensely. Now you're seeing more better programs in a lot of different schools in a lot of different sports, because it's raised the profile of all of these various schools. And so a guy that can't go to LSU, maybe a basketball player that can't go to LSU, well, maybe he goes to Tech now, or maybe he goes to ULL, or maybe he goes to Northwestern State, because he has that choice now. And he's seen, you know what? Well, Northwestern State's going to play LSU regularly, so I still get my chance to play in Baton Rouge, even though I'm not good enough to play at LSU. Northwestern State plays them enough that's a good reason. You know what? I want to play there. High Rail said, that's what I'm talking about. Keep the money in Arkansas. Absolutely. Keep the money in state. Raise the profile of your other state institutions. Make it better for everyone. And I hate that I have friends in Arkansas that can't see that. I hate that I have friends in Arkansas that are, and again, it's not what they're used to, right? They've never done it before. Unless they are 75 or older, they've never seen an in-state program play Arkansas in football. Whereas we in Louisiana are used to it because it's happened every year for the last decade, if not more. That we've seen a Tulane go to LSU
one of
or
the
a
most
ULL.
disappointing night of my life was you and
McNeese.
I at Tiger Stadium,
Mm-hmm.
McNeese LSU. We're in the press box. We're there all day. We're for the fun, and we get to see a half quarter.
It was two drives, one by each team, and LSU had just gotten the ball back.
And then the lightning came.
And then the rains came and washed it out.
And believe me, they waited it out.
And so did we.
To where they ran out of hot dogs in Tiger Stadium.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah. They waited it out. We waited it out. And eventually, about 11 o'clock, they finally called it.
We were hanging in the press box with Ron Higgins and Kelsey Wingert. And talk about a good time.
It was a lot of fun.
But, that right there, I was as excited to see LSU play my dad's alma mater and Hall of Fame member McNeese as I was any other school if I could have got a ticket to.
And the other aspect of that is, would McNeese have won that game? Not likely.
No. And guess what? It ended up being the last time Mike the Tiger was on the field in the cage.
Absolutely.
So
we were right next to him.
That's how I help remember. You and I kind of looked at each other and went, I wonder if he really gets mad. What he could do. Remember that?
Yeah.
Because there was one kid that I think kind of aggravated him a little bit.
Yeah.
And he started that back and forth. And I was like, I'm going to go over here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go
My
stand
thing
next to
is
Doug Warner for a little while.
What if he just got out?
Dude.
Well, my question is not. My question is more, what would he do if he got out? Not would he.
Would he hop on the first person?
Well, would he immediately attack someone,
or would he be that scared?
or would he look to run away?
Yeah, but then all of a sudden he gets in that panic mode.
Right.
There's people everywhere.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is it I'm immediately looking for an exit, or I'm immediately looking for a McNugget?
You know what? And maybe since this question has arose among me and you, that the higher-ups down there probably thought, you know what? Maybe we're not even about to take this chance of him getting out of this cage. You can go see him at the Habitat right over there by the LSU
We just
Sports
built
Shop.
him a $9 million habitat,
you ain't
so
kidding.
It's nicer than Rogers' place.
Oh, very much.
Bigger TV, too.
And I don't have a pool.
Yeah, exactly. Rogers doesn't have a pool. And, by the way, Mike the Tiger gets to watch the same channels in both rooms that he's in. He doesn't have to go and watch different channels in the other room.
I don't have that.
No, Rogers doesn't have that.
If I don't catch it live, it's just too bad.
Let's take a break, shall we? So we got to talk about the NBA playoffs. We got to talk about the NCAA trial. It's not technically the NCAA trial. It's the trial of Christian Dawkins. But if you want to comment on the Arkansas situation, you can. I know Fletch will have some opinions on it tomorrow. Sounds like a seal. It kind of sounds a little bit like a seal to me. No, not the thing. Let's take a break. It's the Patrick Netherton Show. Lots to come.
Welcome to Walk-On's Bistro and Bar, where every dish starts from scratch. Fresh ingredients bring our food to life. Mouth-watering cuisine, unique flavors, and we're always more than happy to share our Southern charm and culture. A love of life, family, food, friends, fun, sports, and celebrations. Walk-Ons. It's game day with the taste of Louisiana.
You know, Nicole, they say I've got an electric personality. Does that help me out at First Choice Personnel?
It would help you. I'm looking for electrical or mechanical, technical people.
I'm not so mechanical, but I do have an electric personality.
Sounds good. You come my way. Let me see what I can do for you.
All right, 797-7810, 797-7810. First choice personnel, make first choice your last call.
I love cuddling on that couch with you.
I love cuddling on the couch with you,
I'm going
too.
to put
Wait,
my
are you talking
feet
to me or the
underneath
doggies?
your legs because my toesies are cold.
Oh, golly, what do you do with these
freezing.
things?
It's so cold in here.
Are they dipped in daiquiris? Seriously.
Maybe we need to turn the heat up.
That's not a bad idea. Is there any way that Accutem could put a couch heater in this thing? Accutem, 861-2255. Please warm up my wife's feet.
Morehead Pools has been a part of Hanging with Hester from the very beginning. You're talking about a company that's been in the top 25 for 5 years running in all of North America, according to Pool and Spa News. They've won numerous awards for their staffing, but Michael Moore's here to tell you what else they can do.
Well, Jacob, not only do we design pools, we want to design the entire environment. And that includes outdoor kitchens. That includes covered patios, living spaces. We want to take the inside to the outside. That's our goal, and do it in a very tasteful, elegant way.
Morehead Pool, supporting Hanging with Hester.
You're on 49. It is so easy to just hit that Burt Coons exit and swoop into Swoop.
If you need to top off your tank, Swoop. Locally owned and operated. Of course you want to support a Shreveport business and a Bossier business on Industrial in Bossier City. But at the Swoop in Shreveport, sweetie,
Those breakfast sandwiches.
Breakfast sandwiches where the biscuits are a mile high.
Ho, 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 ho.
Sausage, egg, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits. They've
Hot
got
coffee
hot
and
coffee,
the OJ.
clean restrooms. Brighten your day at Swoop.
There it is.
Donnie Brewer joining us. Brewer Quality Homes, 3830 East Texas. Everything Donnie Brewer touches turns to sold. You know, I never got your permission to use that slogan. Is that all right with you?
Yeah, go ahead. I like it.
Are we making money off that, by the way?
No, but I like it.
Does it fit the bill? Is it a legitimate saying?
No, man, you should see some of my mistakes. But, when I hit it pretty big. So
Brewer Quality Homes. Hit it big at 3830 East Texas in Bossier City. We have been preaching this for so long, but it's nice to hear it from other sources as well. Gibbsland Bank and Trust certainly knows about customer service. The Minden Press-Herald, our buddies over there in Webster Parish, just voted Gibbsland Bank and Trust the best bank and best customer service in Webster Parish. How you like them apples? You want great customer service? You want Gibbsland Bank and Trust, the great banking team. Every single Friday on our show, we have Forcum Friday spotlighting a Northwestern State University Demon athlete or coach.
Ooh, yay! I love that segment. I especially like it when y'all talk baseball because my nephew is a Demon.
That's true.
And don't forget, family tradition, my mother is a Demon.
Ooh, I think I'll just kind of let that one sit there. Forcum Friday.
What is that
Every
supposed to be?
single Friday on the Tim Fletcher Show.
Very funny.
Let's get to the meat of the matter with producer Rogers Hampton.
Hey, boy!
Here's your master of ceremonies, Patrick Netherton.
Where Shreveport and Bossier come for LSU sports, 1130 The Tiger.
We welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show right here on 1130 The Tiger. Do you think Clinton and Gore regretted having this as their unofficial theme song? I guess it kind of became their official theme song when they were running. You think they regretted that at some point? They heard it 6 quadrillion times.
It was going to be some song, so at least it's Fleetwood Mac, one of the great groups.
It's a great song. But I've got to imagine they got tired of it after a while. Just thinking.
Kind of like probably Skinner gets tired of hearing people scream, play Freebird.
Well, I've asked a couple of different band singers about that, but, especially ones that have a very clear number one song. And some of them are bands like Cowboy Mouth, our friend Fred.
Oh,
down
man,
in New Orleans.
they're such an exciting band
and
in
they
concert.
And while I know all their songs, most people just know them for Jenny Says, which is their most popular. And I always ask them, I said, do you get tired of playing it? And they, no, I don't get tired of playing it. It's every single time it's
what they're known by.
It's what the people want. He goes, and every time it's good energy when you play that song.
It's good to hear.
I don't know that maybe they don't like Freebird. Who's to say?
Yeah.
I don't know. We welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show right here on 1130 The Tiger in the sweat box here at 1130
we had
The
to
Tiger.
open up the old door for a little bit.
Yeah,
there.
we had to get the door open.
To pass out.
I hope everyone enjoys the content that's now streaming down the halls as we speak. That's the only bad thing about being. So we're in this building, and the building's shaped like an 8, like a square 8, not rounded, but just square, or like a brick, if you will. And so we're basically at almost the farthest corner that you can be office. It's a narrow office.
Just enough to put an inflatable mattress in there.
Exactly. So we're like 7 feet
Greer.
from the end of the building.
I mean, they basically put baby in the corner when they moved us down here.
But here's the thing. I can stand right outside this door and hold a conversation with someone on the opposite end of the building and not even really have to yell.
Around the corner. You don't even have to see them.
No. Like, they can be on the
There's
they
an
can be the
acoustical
opposite
trail through this building that is unbelievable.
The hallways in this place are nuts.
Yeah.
So I'm sure everyone in the sales pit, the
right now,
the
they're
prison.
like, what is that the intercom?
Yeah, down in the prison cells they just built.
Little San Quentin.
Yeah, they're listening right now. That's got to be
Sales Catraz.
Sales Catraz. Oh, that's not bad.
That isn't bad, is it?
No, it's not bad. We should make them a sign.
Sales Catraz.
Sales Catraz. Let's see.
And have each one of them take a picture. With a little...
Could it be? Oh, help me out, Raj. What's the famous prison here in Louisiana?
Oh, Angola.
Angola.
Well, I knew that pretty quick.
Yeah, you did. Almost like you have friends in there. Or you visited yourself. No, I think Sales Catraz right now is the winner.
It's pretty strong.
That's the leader in the clubhouse.
Sales Catraz.
I think we maybe should make them a sign.
All right.
It says Sales Catraz.
Let's see if Allie will help us with that. Between that and apparently your big saying is kind of taken off. She wants to make a
shirt?
Make a shirt like Seeing Bigfoot riding a unicorn shirt.
That's what Seeing Hampton out in public is.
I believe she's coming back this weekend. She took off for Baton Rouge to pick up her son and her daughter because the semesters we were talking about this morning. Fletcher was like, well, when are you coming back? Well, this weekend. Oh, okay, well, I got to bring the son back. And Fletcher was like, well, why? And he's like, Fletch, I told you the semester's over and he has to move back home. And he and I both looked at each other and went, this is May 1st. The semester's
Raj, it's going to be May.
It's
gonna be May. It's gonna be May.
So, yeah, I think apparently she's got that in her head. Now we got to do Sales Catraz.
Hey, Hi-Rail suggests Sale Quentin.
That's pretty good,
which is not bad. But I think Sales Catraz is the leader in the clubhouse.
Because if you know that sales team down there, they're Krazazi.
Well, but it's so they took what in essence was what was it?
A conference room.
What was a conference room?
It was a conference room with cubicles.
Yeah, okay.
So it was real 80s, 90s.
And then they chopped it up, and it literally looks like a prison down there. It's very strange.
Got these sliding doors.
Yeah,
that
if they had bars on the doors,
they
it
have
would definitely
small cubicles,
be,
but made of real sheetrock instead of the old cubicles that you
the small
piece together.
Yeah.
It's a trip.
It's an odd. I'll just say this: it's an odd design.
Yeah,
is all I'll say. And look, I have nothing to do with what goes on that end of the building.
I hope they love it and they're happy and they have new paint job and new walls and new doors.
And I guarantee you, they are very happy to not have anything to do with us.
Oh, absolutely. Right now, they're like, "What is that damn sound?"
We hear a buzz sound.
Wow, is that the same thing that was chasing the girl outside?
Did someone say Sales Catraz?
Sales Catraz.
Yeah. All right, we got to talk about the game last night, Raj.
What game?
The Rockets game.
Oh, that game.
Yeah. It was...
Sorry, I didn't see much of it.
It was oh, look, did you give yourself a rim shot?
I did,
Look at
there.
you giving yourself a rim
you
shot.
Have to,
Look
man.
at
That's
you.
the way life deals you.
I'm telling you. There's nobody but you, Raj. Sometimes you got to do it yourself.
I mean, like Steve Perry said, when I'm alone all by myself, I mean, doesn't that kind of mean the same thing?
Yeah,
it kind of does. He was needing an extra lyric right there in that song.
Need to throw in another line.
Yeah.
So the game last night, nothing particularly surprising about it, I think.
No. I did not expect Houston to win. I thought if they were going to win one, it was going to be that game one. And the way the one turned out, I knew it was going to be 2-0 going back to H-Town.
Until Harden got hot late. And Reggie Miller, I thought, did a great job of explaining it, that they gave him two basically free coasts for layups. One was the little floater, and one was a layup. And they were, I mean, once he got past the original guy, he was
just
straight
an
down
open
the lane.
lane.
Well, but no one was guarding him.
Yeah.
And what Reggie Miller said is because the next time down after those two shots, he buried a three. And Miller said sometimes that's all it takes is a shooter.
You got to get one in.
And nobody knows a shooter better than Reggie Miller. I mean,
goodness,
one of the best in history. So
yeah, whether you like him or not, the dude could stroke.
He could absolutely do it. So when he says, look, you get a couple of easy shots to go down, and
confidence gets a little better.
Everything is good. Now Harden starts making shots. He really caught fire down the stretch. But I thought until that point, and that was like, I want to say 6-7 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, they were better without him, to be honest with you. He was sort of bogging the offense down a little bit, and it can happen.
Well, it's funny you would say that because of the period of time that he was out when he first got injured, they closed the gap.
Yeah. And that's the thing. The offense got a little bit less stagnant because a lot of times what can happen is Harden will get the ball and he'll basically just dribble it till it deflates.
And nowadays with some teams and their superstars, that is the offense.
And it's not a bad strategy.
Because if you watched him all year, I mean, the guy's probably going to be back-to-back league MVP. So
and that's his game. And so there are times when you want to do that. But I thought there were several times when I wanted to go, you know what? Pass it. Let's just 3 passes in a possession as opposed to Harden's going to dribble. He's either going to go by a guy and try to throw something up, or he's going to step back and shoot a three. Or the time he had Curry on him, he steps back, Curry blocks it, or just kind of knocks it away from him. He gets it back. Well, now he's got nothing to do. He throws it to another guy, and it's a shot clock violation because he's dribbling the ball out. And I get it. Look, you're shortening the game because you're elongating your possessions. I understand that. I get the strategy involved, but they were so much better. Honestly, they were at their best when Eric Gordon was controlling the ball. When he was the guy making decisions, they were at their best because Gordon was either going to knock down a three, he was going to drive the lane and get a good shot. Gordon was their guy. Gordon was the microwave in that game. And so I was a little surprised that at some point D'Antoni didn't say, you know what, even with Harden in, let's let him play off the ball a little bit. Because at some point, you've got to understand everyone in the building knows what's coming. And is Harden nearly unstoppable with the ball? Yeah, he is nearly unstoppable. But the problem is when you stop him, that's your only shot on that possession. Now, I understand if it's, if you work the ball around and you get no good shot and you get it to Harden with 10, absolutely, go get you some. That's when he should be going to work. But I don't like him bringing the ball up, maybe working off of a screen, maybe not, and then just dribbling it out on the wing. And he's going between the legs, and he's going behind, and he's doing all of that stuff. It's great. But he's not going anywhere.
But that's their offense.
And I understand it's their offense. But I would like to see the Rockets say, you know what? We can get that with 10 on the shot clock. So let's take the other 10 seconds of the shot clock. Let's work it around and see if we can get an open shot from someone or a better shot from someone. And then with 9 seconds left, you want to throw it to Harden and let him go to work? Go at it. I don't have any problem with that. But it did seem like that they were better and more efficient when Harden was not on the floor. And then late, Harden heated up, and then he's obviously tremendous, and that's not an issue. The shot that I think defined the game was the Chris Paul missed three. He had a three late. I think it would have cut it to 2 maybe, or 1, or maybe even tied it. And he missed a three from the top of the key. And from that point on, it was a three-point game. It was 93-90. And he missed a three from the top of the key. And then the Warriors went on an 11-2 run and basically pulled the game up, blew the game open, and pulled away. And my thing is, I'm not here to question Mike D'Antoni. He knows more about basketball than I'll ever learn, right? He's forgotten, as the old saying goes, he's forgotten more about basketball than I'll ever know. So I'm not here to question Mike D'Antoni. But I thought the Rockets looked better when they were moving the ball and getting people involved. Even if it's a touch inside for Capella and back out, or even if it's Chris Paul breaking a guy down, seeing if you can get help off of him, that kind of thing. Eric Gordon the same way. I would have liked to have seen the offense work a little bit differently on a few possessions. And look, they didn't do that it's not like every possession they walked down and Harden was controlling the ball. There were plenty of possessions where other people like Eric Gordon would come up, or Chris Paul oftentimes would bring the ball up and he would work the offense.
They just haven't had that second and third guy really be hot. They've all kind of been mediocre.
Yeah.
P.J. Tucker, who's normally the steady three guy, has had a horrible shooting series. Capello has been fighting the respiratory illness.
Right.
And you're trying to keep up with KD, maybe the greatest player in the league, or one of them at least.
Certainly, I think the best offensive player in the
they're
league.
just out of kilts with what they want to do, and who's performing is affecting the whole thing. And, of course, it's going to look totally different when they get back to the Toyota Center in Houston. The crowd, the energy.
It's going to be different.
Exactly.
And I thought, and that's why I thought, a guy like Gordon, who had a hot hand last night, I think that's, you need to ride that guy from time to time. When you've got a guy that's stepping up, and Gordon can score in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah. Well, he used to be the sixth man.
And so why are, I'm over there, I'm drawing stuff up for Gordon at that point, at least on a possession or two, to try to say, you know what, we're going to get him involved. We're going to let him be the guy that sparks the offense because he's hot. I would have just liked to have seen that. That's just, again, that's nitpicking. It was still a close game. The Rockets still had every opportunity until the Warriors pulled away.
Yeah, absolutely. I was impressed that it didn't end up being a 30-point blowout.
Yeah, because it could have been.
In the past, it kind of would have. They would have sat Harden and just went, hey, you know what, let's take this one on the chin, and we'll leave it at that.
High Rail says, running beard is the Marty Schottenheimer of basketball. There's a lot of stuff going on in that tweet, in that text. I'm not exactly sure what the Marty Schottenheimer of basketball is, but Marty was always a pretty good coach. I don't think anyone ever got mad at Schottenheimer.
I would take that success over non-success.
Yeah, I would take that over.
There's a lot of coaches that didn't even get to where Marty Schottenheimer was.
I would take that over Bill Schottenheimer.
Yeah,
I don't
even his son.
Well,
who was his son? Scott, Steve.
No, it's
something.
Yeah,
Brian.
Brian. Is it Brian? Brian Schottenheimer. That sounds close.
That does sound close.
Kyle.
Snotty,
beam me up.
Snotty Schottenheimer.
Snotty, beam me up. Rogers, you are correct. It's Brian Schottenheimer.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. One for the old ham bone.
He's the offensive coordinator of the Seahawks now.
Ooh. Well, they brought him in some receivers.
High Rail said that the comparison was because he couldn't win in the playoffs. But hey, if you listen to the Rockets tell it, they should have won the championship last year.
They have won in the playoffs. They were in the Western Conference Finals last year, one game away from getting to the finals. So you have to win a couple series to keep going to get to that point. So, and they were the number one seed, so they do know how to win in the playoffs.
I would have
only one team wins it at the end.
That is true. Only one can win it. I'll be interested to see if they do any tweaking of the offense at all, because.
I think you're going to see Capella more involved in
maybe
Game
so.
3.
Well, I tell you what,
because they've gone away from that wonderful thing I've watched all year, the little where he drives, Harden drives, and they collapse on him, and he does that little loop
flip,
thing, and I've watched it all year, like dunk. They
did a version of that, but it wasn't necessarily at the rim. They did a version of that. They did a lot of pick and roll at the top,
and that's not usually their game.
Well, when they pick and roll at the top, especially with Capella as the picker, he would slip and dive to the rim, and the two defenders would both converge on Harden. And there were 2 or 3 possessions out of about 4 or 5 in a row where Harden flipped it to Capella, and he got fouled on one by Durant. That was when Durant got stared down by the security guard. Did you see that?
No.
Oh, my gosh. One of the most hilarious moments in the whole thing.
His own building security guard?
So Durant goes up and gets fouls Capella on one of those pick and roll drives. And Durant kind of goes, he's mad. And so and then he walks off kind of into the crowd, sort of right underneath the basket. And he's turned around, and there's this female security guard is just staring daggers at him, Raj. I'll show you the clip in the break.
Okay, wow, I'm
she is just staring daggers at him. And you can't tell if she's mad, if she's she looked like she wanted to be like, boy, get back in there and go play. She looked like she was his mom about to scold him for something. It was very interesting to watch. But she was just, and her face never changed. She was just staring. I'll show it to you in the break. It's pretty hilarious. But I liked what they did with Capella in the pick and roll. I think they did some really good things with it. The problem is when you're running the pick and roll, the Warriors are very much going to double on Harden, especially if it's Harden that's in the pick and roll. They might switch otherwise. And another thing, speaking of switching pick and rolls, that's one of the things that really victimized Houston defensively, is they were switching all the pick and rolls. So the number of times that a Durant or a Draymond Green or even one of the other bigs got Chris Paul on his back and was able to go post him, like that happened way too many times. You can't have, I get it. You switch, and Paul's a good defender in the post. He's strong. He knows what he's doing. He's a veteran. He's been down there. But honestly, you cannot have Chris Paul switching and getting buried in the post for an easy bucket. And that happened too many times. And credit to the Warriors. They identified it. They were smart enough that, hey, if we pick and roll here, we're getting an automatic switch. We're going to get Paul on a big. Let's dive him to the basket, post him up, get the ball inside. And the thing is, their big is either Durant or Green or one of these, Iguodala, one of these guys who's incredibly skilled. And so when they go bury Chris Paul in the post, they get the ball. It's not like it's Shaq down there or some plotting big man. It's a freaking athlete who knows what the heck he's doing. And so he turns around and it's throwing up whatever he wants. So I like the Rockets' chances to win at least one, if not a couple, back at home. It's going to change the dynamic of things, but I'd like to see them just tweak the offense a little bit to take advantage of and they did that. Late in the game, they did that. They started slipping Capella on that screen, and they got multiple attempts at the rim. That was good. That was a great job by D'Antoni and his crew of adjusting to what the Warriors were doing with the pick and roll. That's good. Need to see more of that. And maybe get some different guys involved in the pick and roll. Because could you imagine if instead of that being Capella who's setting the pick, imagine if that's Gordon who's setting the pick. He's diving either to the free throw line, he's flaring out to the wing. He's going to get a great shot in that situation. So just look, again, Mike D'Antoni's forgotten more basketball than I'll ever know. But just some thoughts as I was watching that game, and I was glad to see that the officiating was very calm. There were no incidents. Harden got poked in the eye. He should have done the old Three Stooges defense. Certainly. He should have put the hand up over the nose to prevent the eye poke. And then, of course, Steph Curry dislocated his middle finger on his left hand, which I don't know if you heard Reggie Miller said, well, that's the finger he normally throws at you, Kevin Harlan. And, of course, Harlan cracked up. That was on the broadcast last night. So, yeah, we were talking about the dislocated left middle finger, and Reggie goes, well, yeah, that's the finger he usually uses to greet you, Harlan. So it was a good moment. Let's take a break. We still got to talk about the NCAA thing. Oh, I want to stand with you on a mountain, Raj. I want to bathe with you in the sea. We got to talk about the NCAA. Well, it's not again, I keep saying the NCAA trial. It's the Christian Dawkins trial, and what's come out about that, and does that have any implication for Will Wade? That's coming up, plus any of your phone calls at 320-1130 or your texts at 657-0426. It's the Patrick Netherton Show.
Welcome to Walk-On's Bistro and Bar, where every dish starts from scratch. Fresh ingredients bring our food to life. Mouth-watering cuisine, unique flavors, and we're always more than happy to share our Southern charm and culture. A love of life, family, food, friends, fun, sports, and celebrations. Walk-Ons. It's game day with the taste of Louisiana.
You know, Nicole, they say I've got an electric personality. Does that help me out at First Choice Personnel?
It would help you. I'm looking for electrical or mechanical, technical people.
I'm not so mechanical, but I do have an electric personality.
Sounds good. You come my way. Let me see what I can do for you.
All right, 797-7810, 797-7810. First Choice Personnel, make First Choice your last call.
I love cuddling on that couch with you.
I love cuddling on the couch with you,
I'm going to
too.
put my
Wait,
feet underneath your legs because my toesies are cold.
Oh, golly, what do you do with these things?
It's so cold in here.
Are they dipped in daiquiris? Seriously.
Maybe we need to turn the heat up.
That's not a bad idea. Is there any way that Accutim could put a couch heater in this thing? Accutim, 861-2255. Please warm up my wife's feet.
Polos, you need to stay cool. You want to stay
It's
warm.
getting ready to get so stinking hot around here.
Yeah.
We know what's coming.
Right.
And we also know that our money is all going to SWEPCO and their children's college education fund.
Not necessarily.
Because if you have the proper insulation,
From Rapolos.
lower those utility bills by gargantuan percentages. All you have to do is call Brian, get a free estimate, 865-5113.
I'm about to starve.
I don't know, but I want to eat something. I will eat this paper.
I know what I want. I want those Brussels sprouts from Fat Cap
sweetie.
at Red River.
Are they not the best?
Yeah, I mean, just that one dish, the Brussels sprouts, would get me there. But of course,
There's so much more. Fat
Right.
Calf Boucherie inside Red River Brewing. If you guys haven't tried their brunch, man, oh man, you're missing it. Sundays, 10:30 to 2. It's amazing.
the French toast.
It's the best I've ever had. Red River Brewing, Fat Calf Boucherie.
It takes both vision and skill to create a pool as unique as it is beautiful. A perfect blend of time-honored craftsmanship and cutting-edge technology. The hand, heart, and mind working in perfect sync to create something truly special. A source of timeless relaxation, priceless memories, and endless joy. That is the mission of a master pool builder, and that is the magic of Moorhead Pools.
We have been preaching this for so long, but it's nice to hear it from other sources as well. Gibbsland Bank and Trust certainly knows about customer service. The Minden Press Herald, our buddies over there in Webster Parish, just voted Gibbsland Bank and Trust the best bank and best customer service in Webster Parish. How you like them apples? You want great customer service? You want Gibbsland Bank and Trust, the great banking team.
I love the old-fashioned tacos at Jimmy B's, and you know why? Number one, the meat is delicious. And even if I don't feel like having meat, if I feel like having a little vegetarian thing, all of their vegetables are absolutely fresh and delicious.
They are, and I'm a meat guy, but I love their veggies.
Yes, and their homemade tacos with the puffy, crispy, goodness.
It's a puffy, crispy goodness, sweetie.
And the queso and the salsa.
It's all good.
And the margaritas. I mean,
At Jimmy V's Fajita Factory.
yeah, did we say that? Jimmy V's Fajita Factory.
Old Men Inn Road in Bossier City, just off I-20.
We got plenty to talk about today on Sports Talk on 11:30. The Tiger, JJ, and Bonsai Ben. It's Wednesday, so that means we have our special guest, Hunt Palmer, who, of course, will be full of it, we guess, because he'll report on all of the latest goings-on in Baton Rouge with Will Wade, but there's other stuff as well, Bonsai.
Yeah, John, we want to hear from Hunt on the Will Wade pulse in Baton Rouge, but also NBA playoffs. Some good series going on last night. We'll talk about that and where that might be going. All that today, 5 o'clock, 11:30, The Tiger.
Let's get to the meat of the matter with producer Rogers Hampton.
Hey, boy!
Here's your master of ceremonies, Patrick Netherton.
11:30 The Tiger, Shreveport's home for sports.
One thing does often lead to another. That's kind of how life works, right? We welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show right here on 11:30 The Tiger. Couple little things we got to get to. Raj, did you hear they've got the Monday Night Football booth is
I did see
in
there was
place?
some news on the old home front there.
Yeah, Booger is heading to the booth. He's not going to be in the Booger Mobile anymore.
Don't you hate it when you're in the Booger Mobile?
I mean, look, every now and then, that's what they that's what they used to call my my bassinet when I was a kid, the Booger Mobile. I don't know. I tried to go with a nickname in high school, but it didn't. I couldn't find a way to make it work. Just didn't flow right.
Didn't quite stick.
No, it was. I dug for it, and it
Did you?
it came up empty. Came up empty.
I hear you.
So, yeah, the Booger Mobile is no more. Booger McFarland's headed up to the booth. He is going to join Joe Tessitore there. They're going to go with a two-man booth, and no one is going to join them, as far as we know. They will have a new rules. Former official John Perry will join them. He will be the rules analyst, and they're not going to have a third member of the booth after Jason Witten decided to head back to play for the Cowboys. So Yeah, that's one thing. The Boogermobile is no more. All right, so some explosive things have come out about the trial. And in the trial of Christian Dawkins. Dawkins is on the stand in his own defense, has been for a couple of days. They played multiple wiretaps in which there was talk about Sean Miller paying DeAndre Ayton $10,000 a month in order for him to come and play at Arizona. Book Richardson is the assistant coach at Arizona that was part of this particular wiretap. Those two were talking to each other, and we're discussing the payments that were going on with between Sean Miller, and basically you had Book Richardson admitting on tape that Sean Miller was paying DeAndre Ayton $10,000 a month. They had a conversation between, this was Dawkins and Book Richardson, that the two had discussed DeAndre Ayton and the possibility that Christian Dawkins' management company would eventually sign DeAndre Ayton. That's when Miller came up. Book Richardson said, "You know what he bought per month?" Saying as Miller to Ayton. Dawkins said, "What'd he do?" And Richardson said, "I told you 10, meaning $10,000 a month." Later, Dawkins said, "Hey, he's putting up some real money for those dudes." Let's just say dudes, because he didn't say dudes. Also, they discussed on the call that Richardson did not need to use any of the $20,000 that Dawkins' company was going to give him to pay Wildcat player Raul Alkins, because Miller was allegedly already handling him. Dawkins said on the wiretap, "You already know Sean's taking care of Raul and all them, so it ain't no expense to Raul, so that's easy." There was also discussions of the mother of Javon Quinterly requesting $20 to $25,000 from Arizona. Quinterly originally committed to the Wildcats but backed out after Dawkins and Merle Code, who's the other defendant, among others, were arrested. Quinterly played last year at Villanova but is set to transfer. So Sean Miller, it's kind of his time on the hot seat here as they go through the wiretaps between Book Richardson. The interesting thing is, and this is, again, what we keep going back to with Will Wade, it's not Sean Miller that's on the wiretaps. Now, there was a report that there was one, but we haven't heard anything about that. The report came out last year. It's why they suspended him for a game, and then they turned around and said they couldn't corroborate it, so they put him back in, reinstated him. Now, will we see the Will Wade wiretaps come out? Because this wiretap between Dawkins and Book Richardson, the assistant for Arizona, is out there. It's now part of the court record. Will we see the Will Wade wiretap come out, where he and Dawkins are discussing the payment to Javonte Smart? Will we also see the secondary bombshell allegations of him discussing the $300,000 that was in a video, but it was two other people discussing it. It was Book Richardson when he was talking about Will Wade was looking to hire him as an assistant coach and mentioned to him that he already had $300,000 lined up for Naz Reid. And basically Book Richardson said, "Give me half of that, and I'll make sure that he gets to LSU." Now, obviously, he already got to LSU. So the big question for me is, will the wiretap come out in court? And it sounds like it likely will at some point in time, or would it be considered hearsay if Will Wade is not actually testifying? I'm not a lawyer. There's a lawyer that comes on the show after us on Sports Talk with JJ and Bonsai Ben. You might want to ask him about that. He may or may not have any idea about what the ruling on that would be, but he would certainly have a better idea than I would about it. And so I'm very curious if this means the Will Wade audio is going to come out, because we've heard now the Christian Dawkins and Book Richardson audio having come out. And again, it goes back to the fact that you have a coach that is, and I hate to keep using the word, but it's the word I keep coming back to, a coach that's dumb enough to be on the wiretap himself, to be the one discussing this himself. Because I heard Daryl's call yesterday, the epic 19-minute call that Daryl had. Basically, everyone's cheating. We want to cheat because watching basketball is fun when you're cheating. And here's the problem. That's the worst possible attitude you can possibly have about anything. Because if you're condoning cheating, then at this point, why are you even watching college athletics at this point if you're going to condone cheating? Also, something else that came out interestingly, Raj, I don't know if you heard this, but apparently Michigan State's Tom Izzo was talked about in this wiretap. And how was he talked about? He was talked about as part of potentially paying a recruit to come in, and Izzo saying, no, we will not bring a recruit in if we have to pay him. So Izzo showing the backbone to say, no, we're not paying recruits to come and play for Michigan State. And he was on the wiretap saying that or I don't know if it was actually his voice, but Book Richardson mentioned, hey, we're not going to pay guys to come in here and be a part of this program. It's not what we're going to do. So again, if you're cool with Will Wade cheating, then I don't want you as a fan of my program. Just period, end of discussion. If you're cool with breaking the rules to just because it means you're going to win something, I'm not cool with that. Now, you want to modify the rules? Absolutely. Let's figure out a way to pay players? Absolutely. But until such a time as the rules are modified, don't cheer for a cheater. Plain and simple. Do not cheer for a cheater, no matter how much he wins. Let's take our final break. We'll come back, wrap this bad boy up. This is the Marshall Brothers break right here. I'm nearly at the top of the hour. I always wonder if y'all are going to have enough time coming back when y'all catch that last break. I know, it's way early for your last break. I know. Let's take a break. We'll come back with more of the Patrick Netherton Show, 11:30 The Tiger.